I want to welcome everyone as well. I'm very pleased to be able to be part of this event, and it's for the Social Justice Studies program, which is just in formation at UVic. We'll be offering our first courses next September, and there's a little bookmark at the front there, I think, if you're interested, or if you know someone who might be interested in the program, feel free to take one of these or take more than one. And spread the word, because we very much want to make this a successful program that's connected into the social justice community in Victoria and beyond Victoria. So certainly it's great to be working with the Peace Coalition, and we want to work with a whole number of progressive groups and have more events of this kind on a fairly regular basis. So we're basically a program that is very much committed to the same kinds of values that you folks are, and look forward to continuing this kind of relationship and these kinds of events. I don't have much else to say beyond that, but feel free to get in touch with me if you have any questions about the program. You can do that through the website, which is on this little bookmark, and maybe that's it. One other thing, I guess, is simply that the program is available both as a minor for people who are doing a BA and as a diploma for someone who might already have a BA and wants to get something specifically focused in the area of social justice studies, very interdisciplinary approach to the field of social justice studies. So the program includes the social sciences, the humanities, and the helping professions such as social work and child and youth care. So I'm available if you have any questions, about the program. But really, it's great to be co-sponsoring this particular event, because obviously peace is a very important issue, and also the whole question of media and how media serve dominant interests in society and what we might do about that. This is a bundle of issues that's very complicated, and we're very fortunate to have Bo Filter here to speak to these issues and lead this workshop, which, without further ado, I'm just going to let Bo get underway. So thanks so much.
Thank you much, Dr. Carroll. I also, for Dr. Carroll, he didn't mention, but I wanted to show his book. The title pretty much speaks for itself: Remaking Media, The Struggle to Democratize Public Communication. I think he has a couple of copies back there. So we have a free media, don't we? What's the problem? But then if you start to notice a little bit, isn't it interesting that all the channels, when you turn on the TV news, they're often the same, only just a few words different? And the faces are always very beautifully coiffed hairstyle, and they seem extremely authoritative, and they never are humble in the sense they never have a lot of doubt about what they're doing or anything. They're very convincing, and they often give us their narrow, limited, kind of sanitized version of how the news really ought to be. So we're going to, as we go through this, we're going to kind of shed light on this by starting with the history. And because of learning experiences now, we now know that we actually grow new brain cells. So colleges really have a new friend on their side. And so I want to stretch a little mental calisthenics to help us grow a few new neurons. And it's going to be two extremely polar, very different perspectives on free press and the media. So, and one on the nature of the truth. So I'm going to start with the first slide, Supreme Court Justice Hugo Black. Nice looking guy, eh? Quote Mr. Black: "In the First Amendment, the Founding Fathers gave the free press the protection it must have to fulfill its essential role in our democracy. The press was to serve the governed, not the governors. The government's power to censor the press was abolished so that the press would remain forever free to censor the government. The press was protected so that it could bear the secrets of government and inform the people. Only a free and unrestrained press can effectively expose deception in government. And paramount among the responsibilities of a free press is the duty to prevent any part of the government from deceiving the people and sending them off to distant lands to die for foreign fevers and foreign shot and shell. That pretty well states what a constitutional free press is supposed to look like. This quote is from the court's majority decision to allow the publication of the Pentagon Papers in 1971. The other perspective is French social psychologist Gustave Le Bon. And this is very short, but boy does it hit the mark. Quote, "The masses have never thirsted after the truth. Whoever can supply them with illusions is easily their master. Whoever attempts to destroy their illusions is always their victim." End of quote. Meaning, they will attack anyone who attempts to question their feel-good illusion of reality. That's the whole upshot of that. And that quote is from Le Bon's 1896 book entitled The Crowd, A Study in the Popular Mind. Okay, next picture. This is Ivy Ledbetter Lee. He's a son of a Methodist minister and attended Harvard Law School. In 1904, he opened the first publicity office for big corporations to give them facelifts, and it was in New York City. So he became the first makeup artist for corporations. And he did this using his own terms, what he calls artfully shaping the facts. Most of you know who this man is, John D. Rockefeller, richest man in the world for many, many years. His family probably still is because they own Exxon. And they had quarter profits beyond belief last time they reported. Anyway, in 1914, him and his family, they owned the Colorado Fuel and Iron Company near Ludlow, Colorado. And they also owned the company store. Now the workers, it was too hard for them to go to town and get supplies, too expensive, what other problems. So they would always buy from the company store. Well, the Rockefellers kept raising the prices on the goods. Eventually, some of the workers got bills at the end of the week instead of a paycheck. And of course, you can imagine how befuddled they were, working 18 hours loading coal and not getting paid for it. But we have to understand that being malicious to miners was kind of the way it is in a feudal system. They're considered kind of lowly work pack animals. And a few months before that, 1,700 miners had died, and it wasn't a big deal to too many people, except probably the families. So the workers, of course, they stopped work, and they pitched tents outside of the company property, hoping to negotiate with the Rockefellers. But the Rockefellers refused. So the Rockefellers, they hired guards from private detective agencies, and they got the governor of Colorado to actually get the state militia out to help the Rockefellers. And on the April 20th, 1914, they set up machine guns on hills overlooking the tent city, and they fired. And after they shot for a while into the tents, they went down and started burning them. It became to be called Bloody Ludlow. I'm going to quote to you from the day after, April 21st, New York Times. Quote, "The Ludlow camp is a mass of charred debris, and buried beneath it is a story of horror unparalleled in the history of industrial warfare. In the holes which had been dug for their protection against the rifle's fire, the women and children died like trapped rats when the flames swept over them. One pit uncovered disclosed the bodies of 10 children and 2 women. 54 people died in that little thing." John D. Was a strong Christian and a Pentecostal Sunday school teacher for most of his adult life. Next picture, please. So back to Ivy Lee. Well, there was an outrage, of course. So what did the Rockefellers do? Because this smeared their reputation. Well, they hired our first publicist for big corporations to do his job of facelifting them. But at the same time, he smeared the miners. If you can put lipstick on someone, well, you can smear it on someone else, right? So they discredited the miners very heavily. And